React. I'm not a reactor. Damn, what is wrong with my hair? Damn, did I just wake up? I'm not a reactor. I just react. If you know, you know, man. But anyways, today, now before I get into it, follow me on Rumble, STN Reacts. If you know, man. But anyways, today, damn, what is wrong with my hair, bro? I ain't gonna lie. What in the world? What's wrong with my hair? Should be going all over the place. I be looking like an anime character. Half my hair go left, the other hair go right. Look like an anime character. But today, I'm gonna be reacting to I baptized my son in the Satanic temple, and then this happened, bro. I never thought in a million years that I would ever see this come across my YouTube, because a Satanic temple is crazy. I ain't gonna lie, man. That's crazy. It's a crazy one right here. Nah, I don't know where the second start from, but all I know is she first started talking about how she met the dad in Puerto Rico, and they started dating. And then a couple months? Hold on, wait a couple months? A couple months? What? Wait, hold on. Wait, you telling me it only took 2 months to get a baby out of you? A couple months? What? I forgot she broke. She said that shit with confidence. That's what threw me off. Because a couple months is crazy. What? Wow. So people guys just jumping into being dads, huh? Well, not me. I'm going to wait till the time is right. I ain't gonna lie, man. That sounds like the most corniest response. Like, bro. Like, that sound like me saying, like me talking about, like, I'm finna propose or something. Like, I'm waiting on the right moment. Like, bro. Like, I know the right moment in that case.
I met the father of my children in a trip I took to Puerto Rico. We started dating a couple months later.
Yes! See, I told y'all, bro. I told y'all. She said... Bro, a couple months is crazy. I'm sorry. I can't... A couple months is crazy. 2 years, 3 years, we could have gave you a pass. Couple months? That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. You don't even really know a person... I can't even say the word. You don't even really know a person after 2 months for real, bro. Like, stop. I can't believe it. But I let it continue. But I can't face my hair, bro. It's over with.
Got pregnant, so I went to live with him. Their beliefs are more in the Satanism, so witches and warlocks. So when my son is born,
okay, now it's making sense. Okay, how you end up with somebody that supports Satan? I ain't gonna lie, you gotta be a hell of an unlucky person to end up with somebody that support the DEVIL. Like, what was you thinking in your mind? How many drinks did you have that you wasn't even thinking, like, oh, wait a minute, he believed in the other person, the down below person, not the up above person? Something off, man.
Of their beliefs, they asked me to baptize him in a satanic temple, which I know now is a satanic temple, but I didn't know back then. And I see coming into my room this big dark shadow. But at the other corner of my room, there was this light. And when I was laying down, I was like, I'm supposed to pray. Let me just call on Jesus. I was gonna put my hands together, my hands froze. When I was gonna say something, I just felt like someone muffled me and my whole body just froze, what we call sleep paralysis. I sat in my bedroom at night. I opened up the Bible and I started praying and I said, Lord, if you have a purpose for me, if you created me, if I'm here for a reason, I need to know because I'm lost. I was rejected at conception. My mother was in her early 20s and she had 3 children. They were all small, under the age of 5. And when she found out that she was expecting another children, she tried home remedies to have an abortion. Obviously, it didn't work.
Let me tell you why the law of attraction does not work for most people. Now, to manifest anything, you must ask and then receive, right?
Obviously, it didn't work. I grew up in a very abusive household. My dad was very abusive, mentally, emotionally, mostly physically with my mom, and at times with us as well. We weren't Christians. We weren't religion. Religion was not a topic at our home. We were only Catholics by like tradition, but not because we attended the church or there was any religious practice at our home. Since I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, it was 4 of us plus my mom and dad. We had a really hard time financially. So by the time that I was 6, my parents started traveling back and forth to the United States in seek of a better life. By the time we were 10, they decided to finally stay in the United States. So we used to live in New Jersey. In this season of our lives, I'm my early teenage. There's still a lot of abuse going on in the household. But, when you're in your teens, you're more aware of what's really going on. My mom never sought help. She never asked for help. Nobody really knew, what was going on inside of our home. Just us 4 and then my mom and dad. My dad used to just get drunk and then my mom used to just...
Bro, what the fuck? Why does that always seem to be the typical abusive household story? Like, every time I hear somebody explain, their childhood and if they went through abuse, it's always the dad got drunk and, yeah. Bro, how many, bro? I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's sad to hear, honestly, as a man. It's sad to hear. Because, it's whenever I do have kids and, get older, I don't want them to ever look at me as how she talking about bro right now. How she talking about her dad right now. I don't want my kids to ever look at me like that. I want them to always look at me and know you can always come to me. You can always talk to me. I'm not going to sit there and be loud with you because it don't solve nothing. Because I learned, as I got older, and when I was a kid that when, I used to get yelled at, it's it just put me more alone, I would say. It's it was weird, because it's I ain't gonna lie, one of the hardest things about growing up is if you really sit down and think about it, at least when you get to high school or in between, somewhere in between there, I don't know what it is. It's as soon as you get to high school, it's everybody stopped that same care for you. That same care for you they had for you when, you was in kindergarten or 8th grade. It's not the same care as soon as you get to high school. It's as soon as you get to high school, that's when the whole, are you okay? Let me kiss you, boo-boo. That's when everything... And it's crazy because when you really think about it, you really have to value how important it is to ask somebody if they're okay. You know what I'm saying? Because, people really be walking around and they don't be okay at all. And it's I feel as soon as I got to high school, that's when I really wasn't okay. As soon as I got to 9th grade, I feel As soon as I got there, I just, man, like, she just didn't know what I was going through. My mom had no clue, but she was dropping me up up there every day. But she had no clue what was going on with me mentally. You know, like, she had no clue that I felt like a loser. She had no clue that I felt like I had no meaning in this world and I didn't feel any purpose in being here. And I was never gonna find, I felt back then I wasn't gonna find love, it was just so much I was so pessimistic, and then it was so, negative being in that school and been around a whole bunch of people, and then it's like constantly, I don't know, people just don't understand, like, when you have a family and you still feel alone, it does something to your spirit. Like, when you grow up and you have a family, but they never really around, they never really was asking if you was okay or if you good or if you need this, you need that. Like, I'm gonna let her continue.
It beat basically, and we would always try to like get in the way of like helping my mom, and like my dad stay away from my mom. In this season, my older sister, was the first one. She got a boyfriend. She got married and left the house.
Oh,
and then
okay.
my brother, which is the second, he was old enough, but he got away with a lot of things because he was a boy. My sister.
Hold on. Did she just say he was old enough, but he got away with a lot of things? First of all, guys can't even get away with as much as girls can get away with. First of all, like, where? Hold on, I gotta grab this ashtray. First of all, I'm like, bro, like, I don't know if I can agree with that one, but I'll let it go. Okay. Whatever you say, ma'am.
She also, left with her boyfriend and left the house. So I'm basically like the only one in this season where I'm like home. And I became rebellious because I felt abandoned. I was the only one left at home. Very rebellious to the point where I'm like talking back, and all the abuse that I saw was affecting me to a point where now I'm being verbally like abusive, if I can say. Eventually I met the father of my children in a trip.
And wow, you know what is crazy? It's like, you really start to see things for what they are when you get older, bro. Like, how two parents arguing, being aggressive can make their child aggressive when they get older. Like, that's what I'm saying. The stuff that we gotta pay attention to, bro. We gotta pay attention to it. Like, it's crazy. It's like, when they see you become aggressive, that's what they learn from. You know what I'm saying? You gotta set the example as a parent. You know what I'm saying?
To Puerto Rico. We started dating. Long behold, a couple months later, I got pregnant. So I went to live with him.
Yami, how old were you during this time?
And she went to go live with the Satanists. Bro, this sounds just, oh my lord. So she wasn't under a certain religion, but she gonna go over there with him, and then I know she know what he do, cause I don't even gotta think. I know it was in his house somewhere. I know he got like stupid stuff, witchcraft stuff in his house. He's a weirdo.
By this time, I'm already 17 years old because I got pregnant around 17. So I'm 17 years old. So
17. Bro, man, this is why they say Latinas is crazy. This is why they say Latinas is crazy, man. 17? 17. I did. Yeah, you did just finish high school. Yep, you sure did. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I finished high school, I graduated high school, and then I'm still pregnant, so I moved to Puerto Rico with the father of my children. They have other beliefs. Their beliefs are more in the Satanism, so witches and warlocks. I grew up around that, but I didn't. What? It was normal. So like same thing as Catholic by tradition. It was like witchcraft and all of that was normal in our surroundings. Like it wasn't something that you would.
Bro, is she trying to normalize witchcraft, bro? What? 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 I'm gonna let her finish her sentence.
If I ask, oh, that's bad, or oh, that's good, it was just, it's like another religion, basically. It was never something that was deemed as something bad. So, when I got with him, it was.
Well, witchcraft ain't good. I know that. Like, and I ain't the smartest man in the world, but I know witchcraft is not good. That is not, you ain't supposed to play with witch, and you ain't supposed to play with no crafts.
I know now that it's conviction from the Holy Spirit. I always try to stay away from whatever they practice, but of course, with him, so I'm kind of in a way or another involved in all of this. So when my son is born, by tradition, we baptize him in a Catholic church, and because of their beliefs, they asked me to baptize him in a Satanic temple.
So he got baptized twice? Nah. The first time was enough. No. And then they have them? That's another question. I didn't even know they had satanic temples. But I know they got a medium up the street. I was like, bro, I gotta go to a medium, bro. I gotta go to a medium, dude. I gotta see how much it costs, though, bro. I'm not paying that much money, man. Bro, if you want $50 an hour to tell me about my life, I'm good. I'm good. Shit, I do 30 though.
Which I know now is a Satanic temple, but I didn't know back then. I was 17. I was naive. I was young. We went to this place and we baptized him. 6 months later, we had a lot of issues with his family, so we decided to come back to the United States. When I come back to the United States, I start working at a Colombian bakery. And so happened that the owner of the Colombian bakery, he was a Christian. He was a Christian leader. And this is the first time that I ever heard about Jesus. I've never heard about Jesus before. And I remember every time he used to talk about Jesus, I used to be in awe. And I will make sure that I get the bakery clean and everything is done before, my time is up, so I can sit down and we can have coffee and talk about Jesus. I remember vividly, there was this one time where he told me about the resurrection of Jesus. And when he told me about the resurrection of Jesus, I was in awe, and I said, Jesus came back to life on the third day?
You know what's crazy? I was like, bro, no one has to say anything anymore, bro. Just watch The Passion of Christ. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. Is that what? Let me see. I don't want to get the title wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's called The Passion of Christ. Let me make sure. The Passion of. The Passion of the Christ. Man, same. 2004. 2000, yeah. Yeah, just watch that, bro. That's how you learn basically the Christian culture and, why we support, or how we. You get what I'm trying to say.
And this man started crying and weeping. And I thought I did something wrong. And I said, oh my God, what did I do wrong? And he said, give me a second. He left. And when he came back, he said, I am so sorry. It's just, I didn't know that there's still people out there who don't know Jesus. I'm too new to this, so I didn't quite understand what he meant by that, So I'm like, oh, well, I'm sorry. Like, again, religion, nothing, no Jesus, no nothing. We only knew there was God that was good. That's it. But there was never like any religious upbringing in our lives. So I remember one time my son came to the bakery. The father of my children, he came with my son to the bakery. He had what we call manita de sabache. He had it in his neck.
A what?
And I remember him going up to me and saying, "Hey, why do you have that on him?" And I said, "Oh, it's for protection." And he looked at me and said, "Don't you think Jesus can protect him?" I'm still new to the faith, so I didn't quite understand. But I kind of felt like he was such a leader in whatever he taught. So whatever he said to me, I took it. So I quickly went and I took it out and I threw it away. And then there was another time. My son is 1 at this time. He's 1 year old.
What?
My son is not talking. He's not really crawling. He's not walking. I would say he was like very, very slow in everything he was doing.
What?
So the second time that he went to the bakery, my boss, he came up to me and said, "Hey, I want to ask you a question." And I said, "Yes." And he said, "I see in the spirit your son in a cage." And then he asked me, "Is there any type of prayer upon him? Because I keep seeing him in this cage in the spirit." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I baptized him in a satanic temple." And when I told this man this, he was,
"No! Why would you do that?"
"Oh my God, we have to pray for him." And I said, "What's going on?" He was like, he gave me a little prayer. He wrote it down and he said, "Plead the blood of Jesus over your son and pray for him every night. Every night, pray for him." And I did this consistently for about a week. My son started walking. It was like he came back to life. And to me, it was like, wow, like it was the first time that I ever saw firsthand, like, wow, the power of Jesus. But since I was so new in the faith, I didn't kind of comprehend that, I eventually stopped working at the bakery and I wasn't going to church. I was only taking what he was telling me. I would go to church very rare when I felt down and I felt like, oh my God, how when you go to church on Sundays,
You know what's crazy?
it feels good. The word feels.
You know what's crazy? It's crazy that she said that because, like, in a sense, like in a way that worked technically, it's like, bro, am I tripping? Like, or what? Oh, bro, I'm stupid. Yo, I thought that video said 10 minutes, not 30. Maybe I do need some glasses. Maybe. Nah, I'm playing. I ain't never gonna wear glasses, bro. I don't care, bro. I ain't never wearing glasses. I don't care. You want to know what I don't like? Because glasses give me zombie eyes. Like, what I don't like about glasses, when you have them on for a really long time, you take them off, it's like your eyes just look weird. Like, it's like this whole part of your face just look dark. It look darker, or it look like, oof, like, put your glasses back on.
I hated the worship part. I will always go 30 minutes late because I knew the worship was 30 minutes, and I just wanted to go hear the word, cry, and then go back home to the same misery I was living, right? Amazing. So in this season where I no longer had active conversations with him, it was like one of the hardest seasons of my life and one of the darkest. Again, I was very abusive with my words. I was very rebellious, and I brought into the relationship. The father of my children was also very abusive. At times, my life was at risk, but I didn't know how to speak up because growing up, I saw my mom going through it and she never spoke up. So I didn't know what speaking up meant. So I never spoke up about what I was going through. So not even my family knew what I was going through. I remember vividly this one time, I just felt like I couldn't take it anymore. I got on my knees. It was a Sunday. And I got on my knees and I asked the Lord, I said, "Lord, please take me out of here. I don't want to be here." My life was in danger.
For anybody wanting to get in wind, go to a school, go to a technical college, get those basics.
Great for career.
I don't want to be here.
And you want to know what make it so crazy? She ended up in the same situation her mom was in. That's the craziest part about it, but she must have got on. Because she about to say something. I'm going to let her talk.
My life was in danger. I wanted to get out, but I was being threatened. So I started contemplating suicidal because I felt like the only way out of what I was going through was killing myself because I don't know how to ask for help. I don't know what that is. I don't know who can help me. This is also something I saw around. So I didn't have like role models that I can look up to and say, hey, everything's going to be all right. Everyone around me had basically the same lifestyle and they were living in it and they were not seeking the help. So I didn't know what seeking help meant. And I remember I got on my knees and I said, Lord, please help me. Take me out of this relationship. And it was nothing but the grace of God that I know now. I had a conversation with the father of my children and I said, I need to leave this relationship. And for the first time, he understood. We separated. And in this season, from the age of 18 to the age of 24, I was always in this relationship.
Wow.
I didn't really experience like worldly freedom, if you can say. So by the time we broke up, when I had my own place, I went wild. I started smoking marijuana. I started drinking. I started partying. I started doing things that I've never did before. And I realized that I felt so empty. And I thought leaving this relationship would make me feel better, but it didn't. It didn't at all.
And that's the craziest part about it. Is it's like it's just like you'll sometimes like you'll even leave like bro I had a similar experience. Well, it's not really similar, but I had like an experience in the sense of what she talking about. And it's like no, it won't. You know what I'm saying? It won't in the beginning. In the beginning, it won't make you feel better. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what that person may have verbally said to you, that might have hurt, that physically did something to you that might have hurt, like, at the end of the day, you still have certain emotions for that person. And until those emotions settle, they don't never settle right away. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it took it. Well, it didn't really take a minute for me. It didn't take a minute because I just knew that they wasn't gonna change, and like when I get to that point with you, or when I get to a point, and if I'm in a relationship with you and I get to a point where I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna change. You gonna keep doing the same stuff. You gonna keep saying you gonna fix it, but you're not gonna fix it. You gonna keep writing letters, but you're not gonna actually, mean what you say or mean what you write. Like, I had girls writing me letters saying like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I'm not. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do all this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. And I just look at it and be like, when? And that was the problem. Is it's like the problem it's the illusion, bro. Like, don't ever, bro. If you are not in a relationship and you are single right now, do not stay in a relationship with somebody that consistently tells you that they're gonna do right and that they're gonna do better and that they're gonna do what they're supposed to do in a relationship, make the relationship a priority, and they continue to not do that. And they continue to make everything else a priority and just put you last. And then come home and wonder why you sad and why you don't, and why you all up in the loop. Because you made everything else important but me. That's why. Because when you're in a relationship, the person is important. Why do people get in relationships and once they get comfortable, they stop making the person feel important? They stop being consistent and disciplined. That's what a relationship takes. Just like how when you're working at a job, you have to have consistency and discipline. When you're getting in a relationship, you have to have consistency and discipline. The only difference is when it's a job, you're making money. But a relationship is just as important. Consistency and discipline. Consistency and discipline. Consistency and disciplined. Let it sink in. Please. Make sure they have consistency and discipline. Because if not, you're just going to be miserable. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be in a miserable relationship. It's not fun.
I felt more empty. I felt more lost. I felt more depressed. I couldn't sleep at night. I was to a point where I was like, okay, I'm going to start going back to church. I start going back to church every Sunday. And again, skipping the worship because I still didn't like it. And there was this one Sunday I skipped church and I went to a lake with some family members. And this lake, I sat down. When I sat down, I kept looking at everyone around me. And I just felt like this emptiness. And I felt what I know now is the Holy Spirit telling me, you don't belong here. I kept looking at everyone and I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I felt like lost, like I'm like odd, like I didn't belong where I was at in that moment. Like I shouldn't have been there. I never known the Bible. So that night I said, Lord,
You want to know how to know when you're chosen? When everyone realizes how different you are, when you realize how different you are. And it takes time to realize that, man. Like, but I realized that, I realized that.
honestly don't know you. I have no idea who you are. I open up Amazon. I order a Bible for the first time. That was a Sunday. When it arrived on Tuesday, I remember I sat in my bedroom at night and I opened the Bible and I said, God, I have no idea what it says in this Bible. People say that when you read this, they go crazy. So I was kind of afraid of reading it because you grow up, hearing that, oh, when you read the Bible, you go crazy. I opened up the Bible and I start praying and I said, Lord, if you have a purpose for me, if you created me, if I'm here for a reason, I need to know because I'm lost. I'm depressed. I can't sleep. So from the time that I was living alone to the time I found Jesus was only about like a month and a half. So all of this happened within like a month and a half. Me drinking, smoking, going out. I needed substance to go to sleep because I couldn't sleep. I would be so depressed at night. I needed something to go to sleep. So this night I opened the Bible when it arrived and I said, Jesus, I need to know why you created me. If I have a purpose, I need to know. And my life never was the same after that night. I remember that night I slept. The next day I got in my word again. And I felt like everything I read in the Bible, I would get up and go out and I would like see it everywhere. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, I just read that, And I just felt like, I'm like, Lord, are you talking? Like, is this how you talk? I don't know you. So I was trying to figure out who's Jesus, who's God, what is he trying to tell me? What is he trying to do in my life? And I remember I started giving people words of wisdom and words of knowledge that it was like something beyond me. Cause I'm like, this is not, I would talk to people and tell them things that I didn't know about them. But I was so desperate to know Jesus that he started using me without me even knowing. I remember this one night, and it was this first time I was in my bedroom at night, and I've never seen black shadows or none of that. And I was laying down, and I have a nightlight on for my kids, and I see coming into my room this big, dark shadow. But at the other corner of my room, there was this light. And when I was laying down, I was like, okay, I'm supposed to pray. I said, I'm supposed to pray. Let me just call on Jesus. When I was going to get out of the bed to start praying, my legs froze. Okay. So I was going to put my hands together. My hands froze. When I was going to say something, I just felt like someone muffled me and I couldn't speak. And my whole body just froze, what we call sleep paralysis. And I remember that night, all I can think about is the light, a shadow, and I kept saying in my head, I said, Jesus, Jesus. I pled the blood of Jesus, and I just kept calling on the name of Jesus because I really didn't know, and I didn't have a church, so I didn't have anyone guiding me at that very moment. While I'm experiencing this, I start like vomiting, and then I pass out. So when I wake up and I look at my sheets, there is no vomit, and I was like, I vomited. Like, this happened to me, but there wasn't anything on me physically, so I knew it was spiritual. And
Wow.
to me, it was like mind blowing because I'm just learning Jesus, and finding out as well that, oh, this is a whole new world. Like, what is going on? And I remember in this season, my sister was in Puerto Rico, and she was attending to this church. And I kept writing to her, and I said, "Hey, like, I'm going through all of this. I don't know. I keep having all these visions, all these dreams. I see demons drowning. I see people running after me. I keep experiencing sleep paralysis. I'm like, there's so much happening. I keep giving people words of wisdom. I was like, I think I'm driving crazy. Like, I don't know, what is this?" And then she was like, "Well, let me ask my pastor if you can talk to her so you can see what's going on, because I've never experienced that, so I don't know what's going on with you." She gave me her number, and we exchanged words, and I told her everything I was experiencing. And I remember her just smiling at me and she said, "Welcome to the kingdom." And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand, you know? I kept experiencing all of this, and then I found a church. I started congregating in this church in Philly. I was just on fire for the Lord. I kept going on like my social media platforms and sharing every day like what the Lord was doing, which to me was crazy too, because I'm like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking. I remember in this church, I started experiencing was physical deliverance, or manifestations of my own body. But I didn't have like a close connection to the pastors. It was more of like I was congregating. They did a women's retreat, and in this women's retreat, I went. We spent the whole day, and I felt like more freedom. And after I got baptized. So after I got baptized, you would have think the things would have got like better, but I felt like it just got more intense to me. I'm like, Lord, I love it. I'm being blessed. I'm happy. I have joy. I sleep. But I don't understand this. I don't understand this spiritual stuff still. And I felt like I needed leadership. But the church I was going, it was hard to like get in contact with the actual pastors. I stopped going to the church, and I just started seeking the Lord on my own. I started fasting. I started my fasting life. I started praying. I started waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning just to meet the Lord. Then the Lord started speaking to me more vividly and more clear. In this season, he told me that I needed to have an Abrahamic moment where he no longer wanted me. He wanted to take me out of New Jersey. He blessed me with a brand new home here in Florida. And the way everything went was like effortlessly, and the Lord was glorifying himself in every single step of the way of me purchasing this house. Before I moved down here, I remember I went to a Christian concert. And when I was in this concert, I remember that I was just so in love with Jesus. Like
Christian.
I'm in a season where Jesus is doing
She went to a Christian concert. Wow. Well, I know it's probably another 10 minutes of her, going on, about everything that's going on. And I'm happy for her. You know what I'm saying? All in all. I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she found her own way. You know what I'm saying? I would never talk low on people, I don't shoot low, but that's the end of the video. If you stay to the end, man, I appreciate you. Subscribe to me. Follow me on Rumble. STN Reacts. If you didn't, maybe next time. I'm out, man. Catch y'all in the next one. I'm pretty sure I heard it.